All right. I'm so excited that you all are here live. If you're watching the replay, hello and welcome as well. We will go ahead and jump in. It's 2:03, so don't want to waste your time. I will keep this definitely under an hour, but I want to leave time for questions at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to pop them in throughout, or you can wait till the end and ask them as well. I will be dropping some live bonuses, like I mentioned, for those of you that are already here. I'll be putting them in the chat as well. And then this is a workshop. So I'm actually going to start by giving you a PDF. And actually, before we jump in, let me go ahead and do that live. So I don't have to go back and forth too much. Mm, So chat, boop. Yeah, love Canva. Me too. Okay. So I'm giving you something in the chat. I will give this to everyone that gets the replay as well. This is what I call the Thrive method, and we will be going through the Thrive method throughout. So this is the workshop part, and you can absolutely pull up that PDF that I just shared and use that. There's like a space for journaling. You could also grab a blank piece of paper or notebook or whatever you have handy. It doesn't have to be so formal that it's in the PDF, but I want you to know that we will actually be using it. So it'd be helpful to have that out and have something to write with. Always telling you that ahead of time. So we'll be talking through the Thrive method. It's 6 steps. Yes, the result is losing weight, feeling better, having more energy, and actually thriving, which I think is what the goal is. But to get there, it's not a quick hack. It's not that Instagram like the single thing that you saw on the Instagram reel or the TikTok whatever, and it's not going to guarantee that it's overnight success. So, saying that up front, this is a real method. It really will work, but it takes a little bit of time and also putting the right things in place. So I'll talk about what those things are. I'll talk stories because I think that's how we communicate better is by understanding what someone else went through and how you can also use that to add to your life. So I talk in stories, I talk in real words. I'll tell you a little bit about my background, which is definitely the science aspect, but I use that to actually, like I said, be a teacher and communicate. I used to be a teacher and communicate that to you, hopefully effectively. So with that, let's go ahead and jumpstart. So I am curious if any of this sounds familiar. And remember, I would love you all to participate, talk in the chat, actually talk back to me so I'm not talking to like a brick wall. But I'm curious if any of this sounds familiar. So if you are constantly tired, you've got a full night's sleep, but you're still tired. Maybe your stress levels are through the roof. It's affecting your mood, your focus, your patience, it's affecting something there. Perhaps you've been trying all the things. You're trying to eat clean, you're trying to get sleep, you're trying to do the workouts, and you're still struggling to lose weight, and especially around that midsection. Perhaps bloating, inflammation, digestion, something like that is causing an issue, and you just don't feel yourself. You feel puffy, you feel bloated, you feel uncomfortable, you're sluggish. Perhaps you're wired and tired, you're running on caffeine and willpower. I'll mention that again later. And that's what you need to get through the day. You have a lot of cravings, whether it's emotional cravings or real, doesn't matter. They still show up the same. Perhaps you're craving sugar, carbs, and you don't know how to stop that cycle. Or it's hormones. So all of these things together don't feel good when things aren't optimized. And of course, they all are very interconnected. They're very much all interwoven, and we need to look at this as a whole. So, for example, going on hormone replacement therapy, I know that's a new buzzword. That's not the only solution. It's not getting at what's actually going on and the root cause. Or you say, "Oh, I'm bloated after I eat." That's that's a symptom. It is not what's going on to cause the bloating. So when I talk about this, I really look at the whole picture. I really look at what's going on holistically. So I'm curious, would love to hear in the chat if you have agreed with any of these. Yeah, those are all my words. All of the above. Yes to all except the caffeine. Fair, totally fair. Um, yeah, so seeing these can absolutely just trigger like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That is me. So I always say this in the beginning because I think a lot of women, we really feel like it's our fault. Like we should be doing more. We should be staying up later to get fit in something, or we should take on that extra activity so our child is, getting the best childhood ever, or showing up as the like skinniest, most Barbie version of ourselves so we don't have that judgment from others. We have all of those things going on in our head, maybe not all of them, but maybe some of them, and we are put to this really big pressure from society, but also from ourselves. Like most of your friends and family would actually be very understanding compared to that voice in your head, and it's saying like, do more, do all of these things. And so that comes from a lot of different pressures, but it's often ourselves to try and be that best version of ourselves. So it's not your fault, and we can also change it. So that's what today is about. We will start by talking about the dream, right? This is instead of feeling all of those negative things, we really want to feel this. We want to feel refreshed. We want to feel energized. We don't need caffeine to do that. We want to feel calm, control. We want to, cash flowing. We want to like everything to be easy. We want to feel confident in your body. You want to feel mentally clear and focused. You want to enjoy your life. You want to feel the best version of yourself so you can look in the mirror and see that person, not just have that person in your head. So that's the dream, right? Like, I know that is where we are headed. That's what we want out of this. And of course, that's why you're spending time with me today, which I do genuinely appreciate. So, who am I to talk about all of this? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I see your comment, Jessica. Yeah, absolutely. There's not enough hours in the day for everything. It's hard because you want to do all the things. Yes, absolutely. So let me pause. Like I said, I talk in stories. So I always like to say who am I to tell you about these things, and where does my background fall into place? So I have a program, it's called the Breakthrough Burnout Method. I am an integrative health practitioner. So whoop-de-doo, I have some certificates. I do have a background in molecular biology. I used to be a science teacher. All of that is all well and good. But at the heart of it, I'm a mom. I have two kids. I married this, my husband, Brett, in the picture. We've been various forms of entrepreneurs. So we've most recently we sold our juice bar. That was back in February. So smoothies, I'll talk about those in a moment, but smoothies and juice absolutely are great. But I was getting into overwhelm and stress and burnout because I was working 80 hours a week and I wasn't doing the things that truly mattered, and it didn't shake out. And so transitioning over the last several years to being fully online, that's been part of my story. Before that, we got really into food. We still have an organic farm, but it's more for personal use. Where we used to be very commercial, we used to grow chickens and veggies and all sorts of things, and now it's more for personal. But I have a very deep understanding of food and nutrition, and then also the realistic picture of, okay, well, how do you get picky kids to eat food? How do you fit this in when you have activities and jobs and all of the things? I understand that very deeply. And so I'm very strategy based, but also hopefully understanding to what you have going on too. Everyone's busy with their own special sauce, and knowing that that's a big consideration is important. So I'll tell you a little story. I used to be a teacher, and I think that's very important because I like to have everything very organized and easy to understand, and that's part of it, I guess. But teaching was very hard, of course, especially during COVID when everyone went fully online, and it drove me toward burnout, like very hardcore burnout. And so I showed this picture because it is something, it's like a memory that it's like bittersweet. Like I love my family. My son was starting, I think, daycare. This was like his first year in daycare after like COVID. And my daughter, I think, was going into kindergarten at this time. And I was just like beyond overwhelmed. We were all going back to school. My husband was a teacher. I was a teacher, and the kids were starting school that day. So this was our first day of school picture. And I remember dreading it more than anything else. And so, what I've taken from that is that you can't do everything. And so, we were shifting, like we were having a very big transition point in our lives to refocus and reprioritize on time and family. But then I had the same patterns and it showed up and I did it again. And so we did the same exact pattern and we threw ourselves into working at this is a picture of the juice bar. And so It was tough. And I essentially went through burnout again. And that was really tough. And again, even though I was surrounded by healthy food this time and really healthy habits, I had to make a very big decision. And so, a takeaway for you is that all success is predicated on you making a very simple decision. It could be today's Monday, today, no, today's Thursday, by the way, but on Monday, you are starting over. You're going to eat really clean. You might start that today. That's like a little decision. Or it could be a full-blown big decision to switch careers or move to a different place and so on. Not necessarily recommending the big decisions, but small decisions compounded over time result in big changes. And so, of course, when you make a decision, that can play out and have ripple effect to lots and lots of other things. I am going to pause for one more second and before I go through this picture, and I want to give everyone the link again to the Thrive Method PDF because I know a lot of people have just joined. And so I'm going to drop that in the chat one more time so you have it. And then I want to tell you another story. So when I sold the juice bar, I guess, started thinking about selling the juice bar, uh, that was last summer. There was a few other defining things that happened. I always like get really nervous at this point, of like, I never want to bore you and say too much, but also is a really impactful moment. Like our son came home with bruises around his neck from a counselor at his daycare last summer. And so that caused us to shift. Like, yes, I was already online. Yes, we already had, a lot of these things in place, but that was like the final thing that really just made us decide and change our mind about having the juice bar. And so we decided to start selling it and putting it up. And so that again was another pivotal decision point. And at that point, I was like, all of these things are really tough. They're really, really tough to work through. And my health is not where it should be. My stress levels are through the roof. I'm not spending enough time with my family. I'm not prioritizing all of these things that really matter. And so I switched. I went on a very focused lifestyle switch. And that's essentially what I now do as part of my coaching. It's like very much like putting all of these pieces into place, but without the like guesswork of me having to figure it out as I go. But what I had done in the past didn't work. I tried macros, that didn't work. I tried like the not exactly Nutrisystem, but it was like a system of different types of diets. That didn't work for me. Basically, I needed to do a deep dive and a deep overhaul to understand all of the pieces in place. And it worked. Like it finally worked. And so I hate this picture of me so much. I do. But it's so important to like see the before and after. And I lost 27 pounds. It was 3 months. I went from 148 to 118. And now I'm hovering. It's summer mode, so like weight loss is not my goal, but I'm hovering right around like 122, 123. And I'm really happy with this weight because I feel all of the things that I said were the dream. I feel energized. I feel connected with my family. I lost the weight, so I feel better in my clothes. My clothes fit good. Like all of those things became the reality. And so now that's what I do is help people put all those pieces in place. But I will say I struggled before I got there. And so knowing, like I said this in the beginning, I definitely know where you may be right now or where you have been. I know how you feel because this was me. And so I always use this picture. I use stories, like I said, but I would be on the beach hanging out with my kids. This is a full year ago. And I was just like, I really don't want to be out in the ocean. I don't want to be in a bathing suit. I don't want to hang out with my kids in the ocean and play with them because I was so self-conscious worrying about myself. And so that's what I want to take away from you. I don't want you to feel this like, I can't do this because I want you to fully embrace life and actually enjoy life and actually feel good about it and not have that stress, not have the nutrition and movement and exercise health piece be what's holding you back. So, all of that to say, let's learn the simpler way. So the simpler way, there still are 6 steps, but it is the 6 steps that will actually make a shift for you. So before I go there, I want to share Carly's story. Carly was one of the first people that I enrolled when I went full time into this. And so she's graduated. She feels great. She's still continuing to lose weight, but in the initial program, she lost 16 pounds. She maintained it. And then, even through a move, even through a lot of different lifestyle adjustments, overall felt really great. So she had the energy, less inflammation, and she actually got into an exercise routine. So being consistent was the whole point for her, and she felt great about it. So when I talk about Carly and when I talk about people in the that throughout the program that have seen success, it's important to realize that they came in with a lot of these similar symptoms. And so let me get you this link as well, because I think it's really important to know, where are you right now? So, what symptoms are showing up for you, and how is that impacting your life? Sometimes you might not even realize some of these symptoms are actually there until you look at like the list. So I'm sending the list in the chat. Here's the short version of the list. It actually goes on for like 2 pages, but I'm going to pause for 2 minutes using this as a workshop today. I want you to actually go through and check off. You can make a copy if you need to, but check off your current symptoms. Which of these are showing up for you so you can come in with a clear picture of what you want to focus on. So I'm going to time it. We'll do 2 minutes and then we'll come back. All right, so let's check back in, giving you a couple minutes. I see people already in the chat sharing, but I'm curious which of these symptoms showed up. You don't have to tell me which ones exactly. Not here to call you out in front of everyone, not about that. But I'm curious if you had a couple symptoms, if you had a lot of symptoms, if you felt like, oh, yeah, I could really relate to this. So, what I want you to take away from this is, when you have symptoms show up like this, that could be your primary focus. They could be so bad because you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much puffiness. I have so much bloating. I have so much back pain. I have so much different things going on. And life could, like, you might not be able to move past that and see what is going on, because that's pain or whatever is just so upfront and focused. Okay. So knowing that that is one bucket of people, but also there's another bucket of people that your current goal is weight loss. You just want to feel better. You want to look better in a bikini. You want to lose weight. And that is also totally valid and also okay. But that's just a different person that I'm speaking to. So it could be two different people there. And third is that you think everything is good and yet you don't realize that all these symptoms are there. And so maybe not the person I'm speaking to, because they wouldn't have necessarily joined this, but whether you're in the first bucket or the second bucket, you know that there are things in your life that are not what you want them to be, and you want to shift them. Okay. So, again, not calling anyone out, but knowing that that's the case for so many of you. So when we look at that list, these symptoms aren't random and they're all intertwined. So when I work with someone on gut health, their hormones get better. When I work with someone on, well, parasites isn't very common, but sometimes we look at parasites. When we look at parasites, they happen to lose weight. Or when we look at heavy metals, oh, all of a sudden everything else, gut health improves, their brain fog disappears, and so on. So what I'm saying is it is all related. And so what we do, we are told, hey, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to cut calories. I'm going to eat in a huge calorie deficit. Or I need more energy. Let me drink more coffee. Or any of these combinations, right? You might add in more workouts to burn more calories. You're stressed out, you're overwhelmed. Oh, let me stay up later because I need to do more. I need to fit more in. And so these aren't the actual solutions most of the time. Yeah, to lose weight, you probably have to be in a calorie deficit, but cutting calories isn't always the answer. I actually have some of my clients reverse dieting. They're adding calories back in, which sounds backwards, but it actually works because we're supporting their metabolism. So looking at it in a whole picture is really, really key. So ultimately, the truth is your body is probably depleted of some sort of nutrients that it needs. People say, for example, I actually did a client call this morning where she did all five tests, and we were able, all five tests that I offer, and we were able to see like her thyroid wasn't functioning as optimally. We were able to see that her hormones were out of whack. Her cortisol was actually really low, like too low. Too low is just as bad as being too high. So her cortisol was low and her hormones were low and they were out of balance. And so when we look at that, a lot of it probably is due to not having enough nutrients, not eating the right foods for a long time. That's where it starts. But then we look at overwhelm and stress. We look at the fact that maybe you've taken antibiotics for years, or you had chronic ear infections or something as a kid, or you were in the hospital for something and they gave you anesthesia and they gave you different medications, and that has kind of stayed with you because you weren't able to get rid of the toxins or whatever. So usually what has happened in the past really affects you now. It could also be how you were raised, limiting things, limiting beliefs, conditioning that comes from our parents. Like mindset work is actually part of it too, is part of that like depletion of like, I don't think that I'm ever enough, so I keep working toward it. And so we actually do mindset work as well. All that to say, there's a reason that you're seeing whatever symptoms you are seeing. There's a reason that you are having trouble losing weight. You're having trouble getting through the day because you have no energy. There's a reason for it. And there's probably a deeper root cause going on. Okay. And we'll talk about that in the Thrive method. So let me go ahead. Actually, I don't think anyone else has joined, but I will throw it back out there just in case. So getting you that Thrive Method PDF one more time. Go ahead and pull it up if you don't have it already. This is what I call the Thrive Method. Acronyms are fun. They stand for nice ways to put different pieces of information all together. So Thrive is an acronym. It is an acronym that stands for the things you need to put all of the pieces in place. And if you've been to any of my live calls previously, or even the like Facebook lives that I do in the group, these are a piece of it, right? Like it is a piece of the bigger picture because I can't honestly, and I can't tell you the solutions to all of these in this. I'm just telling you what the pieces are in this because it's a very complex picture. But when you have all of these pieces in place, you really are able to make huge shifts, full transformations in your life. But you have to have the pieces in place and actually consistently follow them. So T is step one. They do go in order and they build on each other, if that makes sense. So T is a mindset shift. It stands for transform your energy. It's this idea that change really is possible and that we're going to address limiting beliefs that say it is not possible. So we'll talk about T. Then we focus on health. So once we've switched it in our mind that, yeah, I'm going to make changes and I can do this, then we focus on health. So it's all the things, right? It's nutrition, exercise, sleep, hydration. We need all the things to be healthy. That looks different for some people. And so we'll chat through health. Then you need to keep showing up. You need to work on systems and balance. And so it says business here, interchange career for that because I know not everyone is an entrepreneur. Some of you have a job, right? Some of you are stay-at-home moms. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do to show up in the world every day, that's what I mean there. So, how do you achieve success and how do you do it over time sustainably? Level four is where we kind of go into more advanced strategies. So, every single person needs to do steps 1 through 3. In my program, we start to do steps 4 and beyond. But you might not be ready to do that yet if you're just focusing on 1 or 2. So just saying that, that's kind of the cut off the break. Step 4 is to integrate peak performance solutions. This is things like biohacking, personalized lab testing, gut health, hormones, all of those things go into here. V is value your time. That's step 5. And that's when you begin systematizing and delegating things out. And then step 6 is kind of like the pinnacle. It's the top of where you get to. It's how do you elevate your life and put all of it together. Okay. So then it becomes very easy and more repetition just flows. So let's dive into these. Grab your pencil. We're going to dive in. So I will pause for a little bit. I won't pause too long because I want to keep it flowing, but I want to give you time to actually work through this. So when we say transform your energy, I want you to think about what is currently holding you back from seeing success. You need to know what your goal is too. So if your goal is weight loss, what's holding me back from losing weight? If your goal is less bloating, what's holding me back? Why am I still seeing bloating? Okay, that's part of it. And then what do I truly value goes hand in hand. So when someone tells me I want to lose weight, they're actually telling me I want to fit into my clothes better. I want to like who I see in the mirror. I want to feel more confident. When I feel more confident, I show up better at work. When I feel more confident, I feel more present with my family because I don't feel like there's 1,000 other things that I should be doing. Okay. So, what do I truly value is a harder one to answer, but what's holding you back is a good place to start. So we'll go into the question in just a second, but I'll give you an example. So I realized that I'll go to the questions. What's holding me back? I knew that I didn't feel very present with my kids. I was very irritable and snapped at them. And because I was very stressed, I did a lot of emotional eating. And I knew that that was the thing. Like I would just shove food in my mouth because I knew that when my son cried, I would have to get to him. But if I was eating, I could use it as like a reason for me to stay at the table and eat because I'm like prioritizing myself. And that changed into an emotional eating cycle. I knew that. I like had to think about it, but I figured it out. What do I truly value? I truly value being really present with my family. I truly value eating foods that make me feel good so that I'm not like worrying about my next meal or I don't feel gross after eating that meal. So when I realized this, that helped me transform my energy. And so we are now traveling more. We're like going to all the national parks. We made a goal by the time they're in middle school. And this is going to shift because now I can feel present with my family. And so that's how this shows up. So using that example, I'm going to pause. I want you to try and write down 3 reasons why transforming your energy matters to you and what it would look like. There's some examples that I've done, but this is really key to being able to make decisions that matter. So I'm going to pause it for a minute and give you time to work through step 1. If you're still writing, feel free to keep writing, but I am going to move on just for the sake of time. You can absolutely come back to this. Truly, you probably need like 20 to 30 minutes to really dig into it. But for the sake of time, we're not spending that here. I do want you to go back to this. This is a really powerful exercise. Step two, and perhaps the more obvious reason you're here, like I talk a lot about health, and yes, absolutely, nutrition, exercise, sleep, like those are all really important. You can't necessarily get there until you had that mindset shift, but health is really key. So these are small and sustainable changes. You should not overhaul with 5, 10, 15 different habits to change all at once, but you can work on them and stack them. So, for example, starting your day with water. It- I will show you. You've probably seen this before if you've been following me. I sit here and it's usually the same cup because I know it's my big 34-ounce cup. And I sit here and I will drink this cup multiple times a day. I aim for 3 big cups a day, aiming for over 100 ounces of water. That is, if you aren't drinking water, don't do anything else. Just start with water and getting enough water throughout the day. If you can maintain that habit, then move on. So you don't need to overhaul anything all at once, but starting with small, tangible things that you can do is going to help. Water is going to help you feel more energized. So if energy is your thing, start with drinking enough water. I will also say, PS, smoothies. So this is, I will get you these summer smoothies as well. Let me pause and get you those. That's a bonus, not just for coming live, but I've been sharing my summer smoothies for a couple weeks now, and I know it's like always a really popular thing to have. So giving you access to my summer smoothies, I start I would say at least 6 days a week, possibly 7 days a week with a smoothie. And so I'm curious, pop it in the chat. Do you drink smoothies already? And if you don't, if you want to tell me why not, that's cool too. So pop it in the chat. Do you drink smoothies already? Maybe. Maybe I'm talking to myself. Yes. No. Okay. No. Yes. I want to. Um, Sometimes I have before when I can prep them ahead of time. Okay. Okay. What do you do if the recipe calls for bananas? Leave them out. Leave them out. Bananas make the smoothie creamy. They also add a lot of calories. And so for most of my clients in the beginning, I had them leave out bananas anyway. Cool. So you've had them every week. Awesome. So it's a snack. When I have breakfast with my family, yeah, I do a smoothie almost every morning. My kids are the pickiest eaters, and they only want pancakes every day. Like, I think it's been about 3 years of straight pancakes. We had been forcing them to like eat eggs. Yes, I say forcing because otherwise they wouldn't eat protein. They would literally just eat pancakes and white foods all day. But we were like forcing eggs. And then I switched. I was like, you guys can have smoothies like me. And they're like, okay. And they down them. Like they absolutely love them. So we all have smoothies now. I can tell you since we've started, because I put protein powder in the smoothies, they've shot up. Like they have grown probably 3 or 4 inches since the spring when we focused on smoothies. And so like I can see it in their development and then I can tell like I feel better. But yeah, you can absolutely make them into smoothie bowls, like acai bowls. Absolutely. You can be as creative as you want. You can make them into um, even like a chia seed pudding. Like generally smoothies, I would say at least 5 days a week would be my like recommended go-to. They don't have to be the same. They don't have to be boring. They can absolutely taste good. Um, I have heard that you shouldn't use protein powder and eat actual food. Yeah, I actually agree with you. For the most part, I do limit almost all processed food. You could put tofu, like that's minimally processed, but like less processed than protein powder. As a form of protein, you could put other types of protein. Personally, I use the protein powder I use is a protein plus multivitamin. And It's just night and day, like difference when I take it and when I don't take it, and I feel so much better. And then the rest of my food is less processed. So, you know, take it as you will. Like if you're eating no processed food at all, yeah, sure. I guess take it out and use something else. But for the most part, if that's the only processed food you're eating, you're light years ahead of everyone else. Um, oh, I'll actually make that for my children because, but then it's all gone. Oh no. Every morning, yes, Judy, I love it. Yeah, I do have a favorite protein powder. Sarah, I'm gonna make a note. I'll get it to you at the end just so I don't pull up 1,000 links right now. But it's from Equilife. It is a protein and multivitamin. I'll be honest, it's not the cheapest, but it is awesome. It's actually in the smoothie recipe guide. It's in the grocery list, so you could click in it from there. But um, it's free of heavy metals, which I love. Like it's third party tested, and it's not filler, and it's also not whey based because I am dairy sensitive and whey sensitive, and so I need a vegan protein powder. It fits all the boxes, and it's great. Um, anyway, it is linked now, but I'll get you the direct link toward the end. So smoothies, that's a great place to get started. Health, like I will chat about different types of recipes and all coming up. I'll get you those as well, and some more details at the end. But let's keep moving through the Thrive method, just for the sake of time. So letter R stands for real success sustainably. This is the schedule of like you being on the go, go, go. You have all the activities, you have to work, you have to like clean the house and do all the things. Some of these things cannot be substituted out. Some of them can. And it's up to you to figure out what doesn't serve you and also is totally essential. So I really would encourage you to go through your actual schedule, like go through your planner. If do a time audit, if you've never done one, it's very insightful. But go through your planner, see what you have to do every day, and also what can you say no to? Because that freedom is everything. You feel amazing when you can actually like take it off of your plate. But it's really hard to get there. And I know that as a chronic overachiever, it is really hard to say no to people. It's really hard to say no to things that you feel like you have to do. And so I put this picture here because obviously I'm drinking coffee out of a coffee cup and asking you, uh, asking you, what are you running on each day? Are you running on fumes? Are you running on stress and adrenaline? Are you running on just the dedication you have to getting it done? Or are you running on, 4 cups of coffee or whatnot? So usually there's something fueling you. And I dealt with this. I was basically drinking coffee every morning and like making it through till maybe lunch or maybe dinner, not eating and just running on willpower. I see in the chat, will I be sending out the recording? Yes, you all are getting all the bonuses live. But yeah, I will send the recording so you can listen to this later as well. I'll send it out right as soon as I like upload it after this. Um, yeah, so Jessica, I am with you. I can have 1 cup of coffee a day now. That is what I happily limit myself to. And sometimes it's decaf because I don't truly need it. But I do, I do like it. I like the taste, but I don't want to rely on it. And so I notice like some days I forget to drink coffee and I don't actually notice. So when you go through and say no to things, you are saying yes to other things. So I used to. Uh, I used to go, go, go in the morning. We would wake up in the 5:30 hour. We'd be out the door by 6:15. We would drop our kids at daycare at 6:30, and we'd be at work to start the workday by I think we had to be there at 7:05. I can't remember exactly, but it was like go, go, go all morning. And so it was like there was no time for anything. And so what can you say no to? Can you quit your job? Probably not. That's not realistic. But you probably can say no to certain things. Do you need to have I don't know, all of the routines in place that you do? I don't know what's in your life. So whatever it is for you. Do you need to scroll on social media before bed? Like all these things, like tough questions to ask yourself. But that is a very personal response for you. Step 4, I will touch on this, but this is a whole big topic like itself. So I will touch that gut health and hormones, brain chemistry, biohacking. All of these are really helpful ways to increase your health, but it's a lot to explain it. So, quick win is like try adding a gut healthy food to your diet this week. I can't do yogurt. I am dairy sensitive. I could do coconut yogurt, but I love sauerkraut. I love kimchi. I like kombucha, like those type of things. And those fermented foods are really awesome for my digestion. They help me feel great. You might also want to explore supplements. I will get you these slides, promise, and they're linked. So when I was talking about the protein powder, that's the daily nutritional support. It has vitamin Bs, it has vitamin Bs, vitamin D in there. It has all sorts of things that help you feel great. So like that's an all-in-one. But supplements sometimes in the short term can help you feel better as well. Another topic for another day, but explore this. If you aren't feeling your best, it absolutely could be worth looking into. I will also quick mention I do take supplements, but it's not meant to be a long-term fix. So usually it's like 2 to 3, maybe 4 months. But other than that, you don't necessarily need supplements every day. For me, that daily omega-3, I take it every day because I don't eat enough salmon or sardines or whatever. I don't get enough omega-3s. Probiotics, I think that's a good one. Like there's a couple notable exceptions, but generally food should be your source of nutrients. Also, if you quick plug, not today's topic, I should do it another day, and dive into all these labs. These are the labs that I can run, looking at hormones, looking at gut health, food sensitivity, and so on. But that helps you know what's going on so you can address the root cause. If you're curious, happy to tell you more about that on a different day. Step 5, value your time. So I am going to pause here. You can focus on what you say no to, but you can also focus on time blocking. And so part of this is, I'll use this as an example. So if you are on the go, 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 you have work, you have activities, you have all these things that you are doing. Can you make a very simple shift like getting your groceries delivered or doing grocery pickup if you don't have a delivery area? So this is something that we started doing. Yeah, I don't love Walmart. I still am going to choose the organic options. I'm also going to go to the local farmers market on Sundays, but at the same time, I do need some consistency and I can't go to Walmart because I will spend way too much money on impulse buys and it takes me like 2 hours when I'm in there. So how do I streamline things? I get grocery delivery when I need to. I will also say I time block, going back one slide, I time block things. And so Tuesdays, I have a dedicated workflow day to doing just like I work with my clients on Tuesdays, like updates and things like that. On Typically on Mondays, I do all of my new client, like people incoming and talking to them on the phone and organizing stuff for the week. Like I try to have different blocks of time where I can look at different focused things. And so that looks different for everybody. I want you to pause, go through this PDF and see where you can spend focused time. It could be laundry day. I don't know if you've heard me give this example, but I hate folding laundry. And so Friday night is our family's movie night. My kids don't get a lot of screen time. So we do movie night. Friday's a very big deal. I sit there and I fold my laundry and I double dip. And I know that every Friday night is laundry night. And so I have kind of days of the week that I spend doing things. Those are part of the systems. So I'm going to pause. We're going to spend 1 minute. See if you can look through your planner, whether you're delegating things out, whether you are just spending focused work time, whether you're doing something on a certain day of the week. But that helps make room for what matters. So I'll start the timer and we'll come back in just a minute. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the Thrive method with step six. And so, step six is putting it all together. And that could be putting the systems in place. It could be putting the pieces of health in place. It could be the mindset work. It could be all of the above. And so, a question for you is, can you genuinely do this on your own? Or do you want to do this on your own? Might even be a better question. And so, sometimes, usually, what I see is that we are all geniuses in our own realm of whatever we are good at. My genius happens to be looking at different patterns of people's health patterns and giving them recommendations on what can be improved so they can actually see results. I've been able to like do this with the farm and the juice bar and then even through teaching, like more of like I would say when I was teaching students, it wasn't so much about health, but like how do we have those stress systems, like putting that in place as far as mental health. And so this has been my zone of genius. And this is maybe why you're here. You're looking for some help so you don't have to figure everything out yourself. You want everything all together, you want it to work for you, but you just don't want to figure out one more thing. And so that is, of course, what I can help with, showing you some examples of what this would look like. Um, as far as like weight loss, a lot of people say, I want to lose the weight. And it's not necessarily the number on the scale, but it is easy to track numbers. It is easy to see this over time. These are some of the real results that my clients have seen. So I have them track their weight. We don't look just at weight, but we look at weight as one piece of data. I had one client lose 11 pounds in 13 days. More realistic is losing like 2 pounds a week. So 4.6 pounds in 11 days, 8 pounds in 5 weeks. Like these are the numbers that I would say are fairly typical for results. Not always about the scale, but it is nice to see that scale move. I would say just as important is that there are a lot of non-scale victories as well. And truthfully, I hear a lot more of these. People say they feel better, they have less stress, they're sleeping better. Maybe they're sleeping through the night for the first time in years. Maybe they're not yelling at their kids because they feel calmer and happier. They felt confident going to the gym because they didn't know how to even look at weights before, but they feel confident. They like what they see in the mirror. Hey, I'm so proud of myself. It really does work. I feel like my headspace feels a lot better, right? So these are some of the things that I hear. We do check-ins weekly. So I hear this on a actual weekly basis. Someone told me at the beginning of summer, I just took out all of my summer clothes and I don't fit in the clothes that I had last year because they're too big, right? So you're working magic here. I can't wait to put on this cute outfit. Like when you lose weight, like it's not so much about the number, but look, I haven't strayed from my meals once. That's really what it's about. I actually enjoy the foods that I eat. I feel so much better. I have less inflammation. So yeah, the number on the scale is nice, but these non-scale victories, they're everything. So that is more about what I would say is typical when people start working with me because they take the guesswork out and they just get results. They don't have to figure it all out for themselves. So distilling down, like, hey, you do want to lose weight? Here's what to do, right? You got to eat more foods. You got to eat the right amounts of those foods. You have to eat consistently. No skipping meals. We don't want to skip meals. We want to eat to fuel your body, not to fuel your emotions. So taking the emotional eating out and potentially supplements in the short term, nutrients, because that is what your body is asking for. So I promised you some links because you all showed up live. So I want to give you that batch cooking guide because you're like, I don't have any time. How am I going to find the way to get those good foods? How am I going to do that? So I actually shared this with my one-on-one clients this week. They all got the batch cooking guide, but I wanted to make sure you got it as well. And that batch cooking guide is super helpful because it helps you think through how am I going to actually cook things this week? How am I going to prepare things? You might decide to freeze things. You might decide to batch prep things for the week and have them in the refrigerator, but it kind of walks you through how to go about doing this. So getting you that bonus because you are here live. And also, I want to say, even though you don't, like I've given you a lot of pieces, but maybe you are kind of asking yourself, but what kind of food should I eat besides smoothies? I know I already talked about smoothies. How much should I eat? Do I eat like people say, do I have to eat 150 grams of protein or do I eat 100 grams? Like, what is the right amount? Um, by the way, I don't have most of my clients track actual grams. We don't necessarily track macros. We do look at portion sizes, but not necessarily like the weighing them out. What exercises do I need to do, or how often should I exercise? What supplements do I need to take? I mentioned some of those, but again, like if you wanted that customized to you, and what kind of lifestyle strategies can I take to feel better? So, this is the part that's hard to give a very specific answer to you exactly, right? Because everyone has different scenarios and different goals. So, of course, you have a choice. And I should have a three-prong fork this time because there's two choices today. So, question, would you benefit from a customized planning approach? Maybe you really want a deep dive, you want more attention, you want a lot more focus on what's actually going to work for you. So this would be the choice for you. So choice number one would be to connect with me individually. The first step of that is, by the way, it's scheduling this strategy session. I do have time in my calendar as early as tomorrow. These are the times that are up for tomorrow. And so if it's helpful for you, then schedule a time, chat with me about what's going on, what are your goals, what would success look like for you, and we can chat about what it would look like to get there. Generally, this is for the person that wants that one-on-one, more customization, wants all the hand-holding, wants the high touch because they want to get the results the quickest and they don't want to figure it out. They want all of the Thrive method, all of those six pieces put together for them. So, just as a heads up, my program does include mindset. It does include all those health strategies, and it does include the systems, that lifestyle approach. So, like, that's all three things that you need. That's what I can help you with. So if it's helpful, and I'll go ahead and share this link. So getting you that session, if it's helpful to have that one-on-one support, then I would really encourage you to book a one-on-one call. Chat with me. This call is free. We talk about goals, we talk about obstacles, we talk about what's going on that's preventing you from seeing success. And I will be very upfront if it makes sense or like if I'm able to figure out the pieces, I will tell you what those pieces are and how to actually see results. I'm very honest, I'm very transparent if you haven't seen that. Now, if that's you, go ahead and schedule your one-on-one call. Promise it's worth your time. But you might benefit from just having just the knowledge, just the strategy to implement. So curious, and I would love to see some information in the chat. Would you benefit from just the knowledge, or do you want more hand holding? What do you think would be more helpful? So do you want the knowledge of just like, what do I do? Or do you want more of like putting all of the pieces together? I'll take a drink of water while I wait for you to respond. Okay. I won't put you on the spot. Okay. I like to think just the knowledge, but oh, the follow through. Fair. Yeah, it's not just like knowing what to do, but it's like putting the pieces in place consistently and having that accountability. I should have mentioned that. That is a lot of what I do is like checking in on people. Hey, I haven't heard from you. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, that follow through. Absolutely. So I will back up and say, this is not for me to answer. Don't have I don't have a crystal ball to say, "Oh yeah, absolutely. This is something that you need right now." And I'm not a salesperson. I feel like I'm not the used car salesman. Like I am not being like, "Oh yeah, you need to do this right now." So I don't put in that pressure. But I will say, if you just want the knowledge, this is for you. If you want the accountability, and you want the systems and it's just like more of a done for you, that's working one-on-one together. Okay. That's the first link that I've already put in. I would encourage you to book the one-on-one call with me so we can chat more and I can get to know you and your goals. Okay. Absolutely. So I see a lot of accountability here. If you just wanted the knowledge, this next piece is for you. Okay. So I have released, I'm will release it to you all first, and I'll go ahead and put it in the chat so you can see it. So this is the knowledge, this is the what, the strategy. It's nutrition, it's exercise, it's mindset. It's not customized because it's only $19 a month. It's not customized to you. It's not holding you accountable. It's giving you the exact strategy on what to eat and how to exercise, but it doesn't necessarily pick it apart for you individually. However, I know that it's like not everyone can, number one, afford to work that investment of working with me one-on-one. Not everyone wants that, accountability piece. They don't want me annoying them. So this is a really good option for someone who just wants the what to do. Okay. So this is what I'm calling the Healthy Habits membership. There's a ton of what's included. And I'll actually, if I don't want to go too far over the 3 o'clock hour, so I'm gonna like close up the main thing. But if you stay for the Q&A, I will walk you through the portal. The portal, it's a fancy word for my Google Drive, but I'll show you. Here's the meal plan. It has recipes in there. Here's the workouts. Doing them for a month is going to get you real results. Some of them are body weights, some of them are light weights. You could, of course, use heavier weights, but having workouts in there. There's every month is going to have something on mindset and lifestyle. So this month is on 5-minute strategies to calm your nervous system. Then there's also a challenge, and I'm going to run the challenge in my community Facebook group, but only the people that have signed up in the club will be eligible for the accountability and the prizes. So everyone can do the challenge, but only the people that uh, are joining the monthly membership will be able to get that accountability piece of like following up. So that is what is included. And then every month will be like, here's where to start, and some cheat sheets to really help you. So this is what it looks like this month. It's July right now. It is not August, but the August one will be available as of right now. It will include the start here. Here's the nutrition. So seasonal recipes just for August. Peaches, for example, are in there. Zucchinis in there, watermelon, like things that you would be able to find this time of year. Because remember, we had a farm, so I like to use seasonal produce. Summer body workouts, a 5-minute reset guide for nervous system calming and boosting your energy. And then the challenge is a 7-day no processed food. You could do it all 30 days if you want, but is no processed food is this challenge. So this is what it looks like, and I'll walk you through it in a minute. I already mentioned it's $19 a month. I am going to increase it. I figured like starting with a founder's price would be helpful. So having this, it's $19 every month. You don't have to do every month. You can cancel at any point that you want, but every month that you are a member, you get new content every single month, and I'll deliver it a few days before the beginning. So if you do it right now, you will get access to it immediately. Like you'll get that immediate email. But the next one, say for September, that one will come out a few days before September 1st. You'll get lifetime access to everything going back. It's not going to go away. But say you join in December, you don't get the months prior to it. You just get going forward. So yeah, that's your two options. I wanted to say, but wait, that's more. If you wanted to join the Healthy Habits Club, I will do a live Q&A. Like, how do I customize this to me? So, oh, should I have food? Someone asked about bananas earlier. Oh, can I have bananas in these smoothies? Do I have to, or can I do something else? So we'll customize it. I'm just doing that for anyone who does the like fast action bonus and joins up in the next few days. But getting you like that one-on-one coaching, if you will, but for that low ticket price. So we'll do a group coaching call. It won't be next week, it'll be the following week, and we'll find a good time that works for everybody. Um, that's the option. So do you want that customization, that accountability, all of the pieces in place, or would it be helpful to just have like, here's the what, here's what to do? So I will leave it open. Look at that. Right on 3:02. That was exactly 59 minutes. So I will pause as far as like having slides. I will go on to Q&A. A couple of people asked questions earlier, so if I get to these, I will totally do that. Um, and as promised, I wanted to get you all of the links. So I will get you that in the chat. So definitely click on this. Um, yeah, definitely click on the link that I shared last because that is going to give you, I see everyone joining already. That's going to give you everything that I've shared throughout. Everything is right there for you. Um, I'm going to open up, before I start doing a Q&A, I'm going to open up another tab and I'm going to get you that protein link that someone had asked for previously. Pull that up as well. All right, so there's that protein link. All right, let me go back through the chat and we will go through questions. Sarah, I remember there was a question all the way back and I don't know if it was the protein link um or if it was something else that you had asked. I was like, let's do this at the end. Here from Wilmington. Cool. I can't if you had asked that question, I can't find it. So Sarah, if you're on here still, ask again. Um, I see another comment. I hit this huge moment of burnout. I can't seem to get the funk. Burnout comes from a couple different places. It is situational, like environmental, like what you have going on. And then I will mention it could be nutrient deficiencies. When you hit stress, overwhelm, low energy, just like the noise is really loud, that absolutely can come from nutritional, just not being in a place of where you need to be. And that's not saying, not discounting any anxiety disorders, depression disorders, anything like that, but chemical imbalances generally come from a lack of nutrients at the root cause, and that can spiral into other things going on, like gut health imbalances, hormone imbalances, and then that shows up. But the very beginning is getting the right food. So I wanted to hit on that moment of burnout comment. I totally see that. Um, yes. All right, great option. Yay, I'm so glad you think so. So I will stay. Okay, yeah, it was what type of protein. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. If you're still here, stay on and I will answer questions. But if you're watching the replay, thank you for being here. And I'm going to stop that recording now.